What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about more layoffs at Microsoft / Xbox / Activision Blizzard, whatever you want to call it. But earlier today, it was announced that Microsoft is cutting another 650 more gaming jobs, mostly corporate and supporting functions. And the rumor is that it's Activision Blizzard, that it's actually not Xbox, right? And they say no games, devices, or experiences are being canceled, and no studios are being closed as part of these adjustments today. And then you get the email. Changes to Microsoft Gaming comes from Phil Spencer himself, and here we are again. Look, this isn't going to be the longest video of all time, but just want to kind of throw it out there. Again, I feel bad for all these people being laid off. You can't go a week, can you? I don't even want to say, it's getting worse. Of course it's getting worse. It's been worse for, 2 years now. You know what I mean? It's just been so bad. But I do just want to spend, a little while talking about, the Xbox side of things in particular. Look, when they were buying Activision Blizzard, right? It's like you can kind of see some things coming. And, you're never going to, or at least I imagine, you're not going to inherit this massive, massive company. And, when you suck them in, you're going to have to do some sort of an evaluation, right? And not everybody's going to be safe. But what we've seen literally since it happened, I believe this is wave 3. Correct me if I'm wrong. You had this wave, right? 650. The first wave, this is going back, I think, 2 years ago. If you remember, Microsoft, remember when Microsoft's, I think, laid off 1,900 people? I feel like it was January of 2022. That could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure on the time, but I remember it being, not only, I think, the biggest. PlayStation has cut, I think, 900 jobs at once, but Microsoft and Xbox has been, I think, the biggest a couple times, because they did the almost 2,000. Then I think they did it again of 900, and then now they're doing it again. So they specifically, I want to say, right, have laid off probably around 3,500 people. If you want to go 3,000, go super low, but I think 3,000 as a minimum, right, of how many people they've laid off, let's say in 2 years. It is unbelievable. And yeah, some of the jobs are going to be this, when you're inhaling Activision Blizzard, you're going to have people that are doing the same job, so you're going to have to get rid of them, right? You have 2020 with, what around the world, and the excess hiring and people doing, multiple people doing one job, and obviously that wasn't going to last, but, you can understand some things. You understand a little cut here and there, or redundancies, especially, look, I think sometimes they use it as an excuse, right, redundancies, but in this case, I do feel, again, when you get such a huge company, and even Bethesda back in the day, when you have so many of these companies that are huge, you're going to have to look and say, well, do we really need 5 people doing a job that 2 people can do? Or we already have 4 people that are doing it and they have 4 people. So, what are you supposed to do, right? But this is just insane. It just keeps happening. Now, I guess the good news is, as we read earlier, nothing, no kind of changes happened there. However, without knowing specifically who was let go, you never want to say it for sure, right? Because, we've seen jobs, or we've seen, companies lose people, and they'll say as part of the press release that, nothing has changed, right? But if there's a studio out there that lost, and I've brought it up, right? The team that's making the TMNT game, right? They laid off half of their team, and they said in the press release that nothing has changed. And it's I guess it's good that you say it, but I also don't really believe you, right? It's I don't know how you go to work one day with 100 people, the next day with 50, and you're telling me that nothing changed because of that. The timeline is exactly the same. They're going to make it. Everything's perfect. I just can't imagine that's actually true, right? So, with that being said here, yes, maybe no. I think those things are factual. No studios were shut down. No games were shut down. But, has things, changed because of the layoffs? You have to imagine, you don't lay 650 people off, even though I'm sure it's various departments, right? I just don't know how you do that without it affecting something. So, again, I wish these people the best. It becomes harder and harder to say, well, hopefully they land on their feet. You have 12,000 people that all roughly do similar things that have been laid off in the last 2 years. They're all looking for jobs. They're not all going to get it. In fact, most are not going to get it. So, Like, that's just kind of the reality. Like, I hope for the best for these people, and I want them to have food, a roof over their head, all that jazz. That's the minimum that you can hope for, for these people. But this is just, it's not a good time. And when you lay off this many, I'm laughing not because it's funny, but because like it just doesn't stop. I guess that part's actually funny, right? It's not even over. Like, I think generally it's slowing down at least a little bit, but then you have something like this, which I guess speeds things up. Hopefully, like going into 2025, it's going to stop, and hopefully we can start to rebound throughout. I think I did see people say like that is kind of the timeline. This is a bad year, just like last year, just like the year before. Hopefully next year it can at least stop, and then maybe it can bounce back like 2026, 2027. We'll see how it goes. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on. I hope to see you all on the next one.